Okay, we got the product review on the Works Connection Elite Axle Block Kit. And I also got the titanium adjuster bolts. Those are self-explanatory. They're about half the weight of the steel bolts that come off. Help shed a little extra weight if you're into that. So KTM, as most people know, they lock their left side of their axle down to the left side axle block. With crazy amounts of Loctite and whatnot. You got to use heat basically to get this thing off. It's kind of a pain, but they do come off. So to convert to a floating axle, there's another company that uses a CRF axle with their own block, but I've used on Factory Edition 450, but I went this way this time with Works Connection. So what they do is they give you a new axle end that you fit onto the threads here on this side of the axle, which is the left side. You want to make sure Loctite that on really good and then snug it up. You can put the nut on the other end of the axle, snug this thing up, let it dry, and then crack the other nut off. So this thing, one-handed, it's actually kind of apart. It's really tight fitting. It's a great fit. So that's the floating axle conversion that Works Connection provides. They also get crazy here. So they've got the typical adjustment slots that you can eyeball your adjustment side to side, but they've created these little posts that you can put up a caliper up against between here and the end of your swing arm where the adjustment bolts are into, and get crazy scientific on your side to side adjustment to make sure it's like factory perfect. So that's one of their big touted features here. The wish list item for these, and they would be absolutely complete in my opinion, if they would do what a company called Bolt has done with their axle blocks. I have them on my 500 EXC, and what they did was they interfaced with the adjustment bolt. So when you strip the axle out, the left side, your axle blocks stay in place. It's a really nice setup. Works Connection could easily do the same thing by extending some material out and doing the exact same thing. When you go to replace the wheel, there's no adjustment. If your chain hasn't slacked off or whatever, you're not using your knee or pushing your wheel forward as much as you can up against your bolts. You just thread your axle, slide your axle back in, and you're in the same exact adjustment spot you were before. The only thing is Bolt does not offer this floating system, so this piece is still locked down to the left side of the axle. And I really want to convert this to the floating axle on the EXC. I've had it for quite a few years. I mean, it handles great with AHM suspension, but one of these days I'd like to go full floating with this locked in axle blocks to the adjuster bolt. So that would be my wish list item for the Works Connection Elite axle blocks. And I might even call those guys and talk to them a little bit. They're really cool, great company. When I've done a fundraiser, they sent me some product. They're not far from where I live either. Great guys. So that's pretty much it on the Elite axle block kit. This kit is for a 2020 450 XCF build. I'm just going to try to do it up right on this thing. And yeah, it'd be a nice build when we're done. Just making sure we got all the right modifications going on with it. And that's it.